So we're trying something new here. You got the different angles now. Like, see, isn't that cool? No, but I sat here for the past 20 minutes wondering how I'm gonna start today's video. And I've come to the conclusion that no matter what I choose, I am gonna fail. And I'm just gonna repeat it over and over again. So we're gonna do it this way. I want you, and I cordially ask for you to reflect on the time in which you failed. All right? I will share if you can't think of one right away. And just thinking about it and saying it out loud feels weird because it's something I kind of internalize. But I was set to be valedictorian in my class this year, and I fell short last semester. I could blame it on personal circumstance, and I could sit here and complain about the things that happened in my personal life that set me back. But at the end of the day, it's my fault, right? And when I failed and when I fell short to this goal, it wasn't just that process, or no, sorry, it wasn't just that moment that defined my failure. It was an entire process. And that's what I want to talk to you guys about today. Now, when you think of your failure, all right, I want you to have it in mind. You have your failure in mind. And I want you to think of the mindset you had before your failure. Whether you believed that the outcome is going to be this way. I'm going to win. I'm going to achieve this goal, XYZ. I want you to have that mindset in mind leading up to this failure. I want you to remember realizing that you failed. I want you to remember the feelings that it embraced in you, that it inflicted on you. And I want you to think about the reflection you did on that failure. And lastly, if that failure seems to happen again. And when you think about all these different things, you realize that failure is not just a momentary thing. You realize that failure is an entire process from the identity and the belief you have. Because at the end of the day, right? For example, let's say I intend to become a doctor in 10 years. I intend to have a certain amount of kids. I intend to have this outcome in life. And with me, with being valedictorian, right, I had this idea that it was going to happen. It wasn't just an idea at this point. It was my identity that I was the valedictorian, that I was going to come out this way, that this was my outcome. And when you believe something so firmly, it becomes your identity. And I want you to reflect on this idea, this mindset that you had leading up to it, right? That's before failure. That's before that moment where you realize you fell short, right? And that's when you realize failure is not just a process after, it's before. And after you fail, you get knocked on your ass and you realize what the hell just happened. What happened was you fell short. There's something you did that caused you to fall short, right? Because that's what separates losers from winners at the end of the day. It's not reflecting on it that makes you a loser or winner. It's how you perceive it. Losers will perceive it as the world hitting them and them pitying themselves. Because the world is going to hit you, right? But what a loser thinks is that it's not their fault, that the world is just cruel and they are a victim to it and they simply have to accept it. But what separates them from the actual winners, the actual dogs that go after it and get after it every single day, is that the winners will perceive the world hitting them as a reason for them to hit back, right? And no corny stuff or anything. This is just real talk. This is just real talk. And winners will sit and reflect like the losers, except in this case, they think, what can I do to prevent this from happening next time? What can I learn from this failure? Right? Because we don't want to fail. No one inherently wants to fail. If you want to fail, you're kind of weird. But I know you don't because no one like that exists. No one wants to fail unless you're on JV and you got bumped up to varsity and you're wrestling a state champ. But that's not from personal experience. But no one inherently wants to fail. And so winners will take this experience and they'll think to themselves, how can I prevent this from happening to me next time? And they come up with the idea and then they push forward. They get off their ass. Because it's completely okay to sit and absorb the pain, right? No one's telling you that you have to get right back up, that you have to come up with ideas on how to prevent it from happening, and you just got to get after it and go and get up and just repeat, right? No one's telling you that you have to immediately get up, right? Take some time to absorb the pain. Take the time, reflect, sit, and let yourself feel, right? Because you don't want to make your heart turn to stone, right? Just forget how you feel, get up, get after it. You want to feel this entire process because it adds to your growth. And so it's okay to grieve and just let it out. That's okay. And a lot of us forget to do that. And we tend to give ourselves this idea that we just have to get up and move on. And that hurts your growth in the process. So you get up, you reflect after some time, you fall on your ass 7, you get back up 8, if I thought the math doesn't add up. And then you move on, and you're going to fail again, right? That's the next part of this entire process. You rinse and repeat, because you may let it happen again, and you realize, what did I not learn from the last time? Where did I go wrong again? And then you build this knowledge, and then you prevent it more and more until you're at a 99.9% success rate and you're kicking its ass. You're kicking life's ass. And so to leave you guys off with just a few more words and then a quote. Failure is a process. And as long as you're persistent and you stay ambitious, that's all that matters. Because most people, when they get knocked on their butt, that's it. They throw in the towel and that's wraps for them. But you're here, you're watching this video, you're thinking about your failures, you're realizing it's a process, you're getting after it, and you're most importantly persistent. You're persistent and you don't let your ambition die. And that's commendable. And I respect you immensely for that. And so to leave you guys off with that quote as promised, a wise man once said that true glory doesn't lie in never failing, but rather true glory lies. True glory lies in rising from failure.